Alright guys, hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm just heading to work here, and it's been a minute since I did a video like this. Actually, has it been? Yeah. So recently we had the I haven't done a Japanese the real place video in a minute, but there was this interesting story about which highlights uh, for everyone how the working culture in Japan is really not like anywhere else in the world. So JR, was it a JR West employee? I think Okayama, is it? Yeah, in JR, a JR train employee, train uh, conductor or a driver actually, is suing JR for ducking his pay 86 yen because of a delay he had in the for work related incident. So here's what happened. Basically, the driver is at the end of the shift. The driver was waiting at the wrong platform to get a train to park in the train yard. And when he realized he was at the wrong platform, homeboy ran over to the other platform and got on the train, causing a 1 minute delay, which in turn caused a 1 minute delay for the car to be parked, which results in a 2 minute delay in total. So his company said, you know what? Let us just dock your pay for the 2 minutes, which is 86 yen. So he sued them. I went to the labor board and they recommended that JR reduce it to a 1 minute delay. But here is the thing. For any delay caused by JR, the cost is borne by the offended party. So for instance, if a person commits suicide or jumps in front of the train and it delays the train during the day during the busy time, the family has to pay for the delay and compensate the company. That is a culture. Now, this delay didn't affect the customer or the company in any way. So the worker said, hey, why are you going to charge me for a mistake like that? And it didn't really affect anybody. So he's so after reducing the his deduction, right, to like 50 or 40, to 46 yen, he is suing them for 2.2 million yen in mental anguish, which is about 20,000 US dollars, which in fact is not a lot of money for suing somebody, right? But he went on to say that how can you try to deduct my pay in minute increments when overtime is not paid in minute increments either? One, two, the mistake didn't cost the company or affect the company in any way. So why are you going to use that to start charging people for mistakes that are not a big deal? So he's saying that he's likening it to crashing a train car when you just didn't delay anybody or affect anybody. Now, he highlighted that this is a very stringent way, which is no work, no pay policy in Japan. And if we're going to apply these across everything in Japan, then it's just wrong. It's not right to do that, to treat human beings like that. Really, Japan? Well, you guys are human beings too. Okay, I thought you were perfect humans and didn't make mistakes. Because that's how they carry themselves a lot. And the companies here in Japan are really strict about how they operate and about punctuality. In Japan, time is everything. Time is money. And if you're late in jobs, you actually can lose your job. Like if you're late even once, without reason, as in like the trains are delayed and you get the certificate of lateness from the train, then you can be in some serious trouble in the company. So yeah, that's really weird though, because Japanese people don't tend to go to court for things like that against their own company. I don't know what the outcome will be. I think it's now at the district court because he's not satisfied. I hope he wins though, because that's just ridiculous. I mean, for the most part, when you work in Japan, you get to understand that the work culture here is really all about the work. And if you're not right, so if you're not all about the work, then you might be better off doing something else. And there's actually a very rough work culture here in terms of overwork and overtime not being paid and that sort of thing, or not being approved. People working too much, even work on Sundays. Like I think they do the flex week here in Japan, so some people have their days off in the midweek, and they work on Sundays and Saturdays and that sort of thing. It's just an observation, but I mean, it is what it is. What else is happening in the news this week in Japan? Japan to lift some of the restrictions for the entry, for the borders, and to reduce the number of days of quarantine, depending on your nationality or your status. As well as something really good for Japan, for foreigners who want to live here. If you're in a particular field, skilled field, more likely engineers and that sort of thing, type of skilled workers, they are looking to allow persons to stay in Japan indefinitely. So I think you won't require a visa per se. So they're trying to, I guess, incorporate more foreigners in whatever fields they are. I think it's more like the factories. And yeah, also, which is interesting, Japan is looking to also give 100,000 yen to persons under 20 years old, the young people, as a stimulus package for them to spend to help, I guess, boost the economy. So that's that, and that, and that. But yeah, the borders are opening up. The social scenes are opening up in Japan right now. I guess they're saying that the best of Corona, or the worst of Corona, is now past. Actually, in Tokyo, the digits of cases, new cases, are now down to single digits. So that's really good, Japan. Really, really good. And the amount of persons that are inoculated has increased as well. I plan to get my vaccine sometime next year because I need to travel. I can't do it without traveling, so that's a requirement now, especially in the US. So yeah, I'll see you all in the next video. If you want me to cover any topics, let me know. And because guys, Jamaican YouTuber, Ikimacho!